Hello and welcome to another video from oorail. In this video we're going to show you how to do some of these photorealistic walls and tunnel and bridges that we're working on. So a couple of people have requested that I show you how to do this. So it's a bit of a two-step process. There's some stuff that I'm going to do here over the layout, and then I'm going to use some screencasting software to show you how I do some of the stuff on the computer. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps bit by bit as I do this section of the layout. Hopefully I'll get it all done tonight. There's quite a bit of it though, so hopefully this video doesn't take too long to come out. But basically what we're doing here is here I'm actually testing the height differences just to make sure that the scale of the bridge with the scale of the wall with the locomotives looks at least somewhat realistic. And it's going to be pretty difficult to get it exact, mainly because some of the clearances, especially for the trains going around curves, won't always fit with the tunnel mounts, as I found with the one at the end there. So it's a bit of a trial and error. This section of the layout has been loosely inspired by the set of tunnels and bridges that are at Sydney Gardens in Bath. I haven't actually been there, but I've seen quite a few videos and photos of the place, and it looks like a very spectacular spot for train spotting. So this section of the layout is going to be sort of loosely modeled on that. Now Sydney Gardens is just a two-track run through there, and of course here we've got 4 tracks. So to kind of adjust that a little bit, luckily some of the areas look like there used to be more than 2 tracks, or at least the tunnels are doubled over. So what we're going to do is we're going to just basically duplicate some of the stuff. So here you can see we've got the bridge. This is actually a photo that I took, I didn't take, but that I borrowed off the internet to give me the bridge. So you can see there it's just kind of a zoomed in section, and it's been kind of cut and printed out on this laser printer glossy paper. It's brochure paper, and it's not quite as thick as photo paper, and it's not quite as glossy as photo paper either. So while it's a little bit glossy, it looks pretty realistic when it's printed out on the laser printer. You could probably use an inkjet printer, or just send photos to the photo lab if you wanted to go that route as well. I'll show you later, but basically the trick with this is to try to get at least the tunnel gap, the correct distance, and then hopefully the photo will scale for you. If you have to adjust the aspect ratio of the photo or mess with it, you run the risk of it looking a little out of proportion. So I'm going for maybe a little bit off scale and still looking somewhat normal, as opposed to being exact. So if you're fussy about things being exactly perfect and exactly perfect to scale, this technique will probably take you quite some time to perfect. But if you're okay with it being looking okay and maybe not being exactly 100% exact, then it shouldn't take much time at all. So we actually used the software to mirror the photos here. So the same photo that's actually that part of the bridge was taken from a mirror copy of this photo. So I'm going to basically take a scissors and cut this section out, and then it'll become the second section that goes over here over the other 2 tracks, and we'll build the center pillar out of cardboard or some sort of poster board. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to actually measure up the distances here along with the other side. I think it's starting to look like it's going to be about 2 centimeters wide and about 3.5 centimeters deep. So it's going to be 2 centimeters this way and then 3.5 centimeters back the other way. And we're going to create 2 pillars, one here and one on the end, and they'll be just made out of clear white poster board. And what we'll do is I actually have some pillars already printed out from a similar set of photos of the area, and we'll glue that onto the pillars to make them look legitimate. So I'm going to go ahead and start marking up some cardboard, and we'll get back to this shortly. So we've drawn up the card here. So if I pan the camera back, you should be able to see exactly what's going on here. So you can see here this kind of odd shape is what gives you the pillar. The top there is 2 centimeters in length and 3.5 high, and then the boxes there are 10 centimeters in length, and the little walls on the bottom left here and the top right actually give you the foldovers for the sides, and those are 2 centimeters to match the top and the bottom there in width. So what we'll do is we'll cut this out and fold it up and show you how it works. So yeah, you can see here what we're left with is this odd shape. Now I haven't lost my mind. It is not perfectly cut around the edge for a reason. I left a little space in certain points, so there would be foldovers. So there would be something on the surface to actually glue to the other side. So you can see there's the bottom, which will fold over that way, and this should fold over and fold in. So let me go ahead and fold it and we'll show you the end result. Okay, so I'm not going to win any awards here for origami, but it does create a pretty decent sized box, as you can see there, and that's going to go in place there. So what we're going to do is glue the little flaps together. As you can see, I didn't need all the flaps, but there's some there. As you can see, they fold over, and that'll glue those in place. And so we're going to glue this up and then just measure it to make sure it fits in the appropriate location there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue it to the baseboard, and I'm going to cut the other printout that I made to fit the outside edge here and glue it to here so it all looks like one piece of the bridge. And then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, so here you can see we're just testing the clearances. I've got a class 25, it's an old one that I got for eBay that someone tried to weather, and a class 29. So I'm going to use the two of these just to gauge the distances between the train on the track and where the bridge is going to go. So it looks like it's going to fit, so we're good there. So now what we're going to do is use the same technique to build a pillar on the outside, and it's going to be a little bit taller, and then we're going to create a U-shaped kind of almost like a duct that's going to sit on top of the pillar to create the bridge, or the inside of the bridge, and we'll use that we'll paint that black or something later, and we can use that to put some people or something on it, or cars or something like that. So it's just that when people are looking at the layout from over top, that it doesn't, it looks somewhat realistic. So we're going to go ahead and build those additional pillars, and then we'll glue them in place, add the photo skin to the outside to it, and we'll show you the end result. So you can see here we've got the outside pillar now glued in place, the central pillar in place, and we're just doing a quick set of clearances tests. Here on the outside we're just using a Mach 3 intercity coach. It's pretty long, it's one of the longest coaches that we have, so if it can make it around without touching the walls, we're good to go. You can see there it's pretty tight. Looking at the distances there between the locomotives and the wall, but it works. So next thing is we're going to go and create the top riser for the bridge, and glue on the walls, and we should be good to go. So when I say we're going to glue on the walls, basically we're going to glue on these photorealistic looking images that we printed out and have cut. So we're going to go and glue those into place as well, and it should look pretty good. And here you can see we haven't put the skin on the side yet, but you can easily see the building blocks there, the two pillars and the U-shaped sort of trunking thing that goes along the top there. That essentially is all there is to it. Okay, and there you can see the full effect. Obviously we still have to glue those photorealistic images onto the building blocks there, but you can see that it works out pretty well. So the next section of this video, we're going to go ahead and glue the photorealistic pillars on and add some paint. And then in the second part of this video, we'll show you how to actually create the pillars and so on the computer. So this is just a map view of Sydney Gardens. Now obviously our layout isn't exactly a replica of this area. What we actually did was we had a stretch of track that needed some sort of scenery added to it. And after seeing a couple of videos on YouTube and some photos of Sydney Gardens, it provided a degree of inspiration for this section of the layout. So one of the things that I liked about this was you had this long stretch track here, and there were a number of bridges and stuff that went under, and it just looked pretty cool. And then you had the kind of a park setting. Some of the park stuff here, as you can see, goes over the top of the railway, and then the rest of it is running alongside, and it's a very popular place for train spotters. I think most of the photos I think I've seen have been taken from this section right here. So you're looking down the track, and you can see 1, 2, 3 bridges here, and then you've got, if you're looking up the track, you've got 1, 2, 3 bridges as well in the opposite direction. So we haven't quite used as many bridges that are actually here, but we've taken some of the inspiration for some of the photorealistic images from this particular area. So I just wanted to show you the overview here of the kind of area we were doing. So you can use any kind of a map application like Google Maps to go and find these locations. So like I just stumbled across Sydney Gardens while I was looking at railway videos on YouTube, and then I was able to come up here on Google Maps and take a look at the location. So it's a pretty sophisticated piece of software here, and it allows you to take a look at the railway. In fact, if you change to the map view, you can see here that it actually shows you the number of lines as well, and this is very handy for tracing back various different locations and for doing research. So hopefully you find this useful. We're going to show you how to take some photos and manipulate them for use as backgrounds or bridge elements or anything on your model railway. So the software that we have here is a standard photo editing software. This particular piece of software is called the GIMP. It's available for free, and you can get it off, I think it's gimp.org. It's gimp.org. It is open source, and it's available for Windows, Mac OS X, which we're using here, as well as Linux. And it's a pretty sophisticated piece of software, and it's been around for many years. So what we're actually going to do is pretty simple. In this video, we're going to show you how to take this bridge element here and take it from just a random photo you might have in your collection or that you've downloaded off the internet, and basically how to convert it into a three-dimensional object. So the first thing we're going to do is going to take the rectangle select tool, and we're going to just take the element that we're interested in, and in this case it happens to be this bridge. We're not going to take the whole bridge, we're just going to take the segment of it that we're interested in. So we'll just highlight it like that, and we'll probably adjust it a little bit like so.
Um, and then we're going to go up here and select edit and copy, and then edit and paste as new image. And as you can see there, it pops up then as basically a new image. And this is really all we're interested in, is this bridge section here. So what we're going to do next is basically just save this, and then we're going to import it into some desktop publishing software. On the Mac here, we're going to use the Pages application, but you could use Scribus, which is a free open source application, or you could use Microsoft Publisher, or any kind of tool. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to create 3 copies of this file. So because we're doing a double arch on the bridge, we're going to need to produce it on this side as well as flipped, as well as upside down. So first thing I'm going to do is just save the normal version of it. So we do File, Save As, and then we're just going to save it out into the desktop here, the Sydney Gardens, and then we'll save this as bridge3.jpg. And then we're just going to go to the Tools, Transform, and then Flip. And now you can see that's given us the same side of the bridge, but on the left-hand side instead of the right. So we're going to save this as 3A. And then we're going to go to the transform. And this time we're going to flip it horizontally. So on this keyboard, I'm hitting the Control key, and we're now flipping it that way. And this will provide the left-hand side on the other side of the bridge. Obviously, the bridge has got 2 facets, so we're going to go and save this as bridge 4A, or sorry, bridge 3B. Export that. And then finally, with it flipped like that, we're going to go to Tools, Transform Tools, not Perspective. Sorry. We're going to go to Tools, Transform Tools, and Flip. And we're just going to click on it. As you can see, that provides the other side of the bridge on the right hand side. So we're going to save this last copy as for 3C. So you can see for each side of the tunnel, we have a version for both sides of the bridge. So from the one photo and the transform tool, we were able to just flip it horizontally and vertically to get the 4 pieces. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take those 4 images, import them into the desktop publishing tool, resize them, and do a test print. And then once you've done the test print, we're going to make sure that it looks okay on the layout. And then if it does, we'll use it. If not, we'll come back to the desktop software and resize it a little bit. Okay, so this software here that we have loaded is called Pages. It's an Apple proprietary piece of software, but you could use Scribus, or you could use Microsoft Publisher, or any of these desktop publishing tools. Basically, all you want is the ability to drag and drop the photos into this particular screen, and then to be able to resize them and print them out. This is actually another bridge that we did from another set of photos. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to print out the whole thing, even though we're just interested in this particular piece here. And the reason for that is it's a lot easier just to print it out and rather than messing with the photo editing. And then we'll just use the scissors to cut it out. It's pretty straightforward. So as you can see here, this was actually, if you're looking at the bridge, our wall is on this side, so this is on the right hand side, and then this flip version is on the left hand side. So because we've got 4 rails instead of 2 on our track, this one is the right hand side and this is the left hand side. And then you can see here we got the flipped image to do the right hand and left hand side on the other side. So what I'm going to do is just show you how we do this for the next image. So we're going to go and insert blank page, and then we're going to go find our image, which I believe is bridge. Yep. So here are our bridges. Here's bridge number 3. Just pull that out of the way and drop it in here. So we actually want this to be slightly different size. It's pretty close to what we want, but it's not quite high enough. So we're going to go and press the Shift key, and then bring this up to 3.82 inches, and that's our starting number. It seems to work for most images that are about this size. And then we're going to go. This is the right hand side of the bridge. So we're going to go then and take the opposite side of the bridge and just drop it in there. So we need to resize this one as well. Sometimes it doesn't always cooperate. And there you can see we now have the mirror images of each other, and then we're just going to do the same thing with the other 2 images. So it's a blank page. This one doesn't cooperate, and take the upside down version of it. And that is basically it. So here you can see we have the mirror image sides of the bridge, and so what we're going to do next is print this on high gloss or on gloss heavy photo paper or brochure paper. So we're going to do print here, and then we're basically going to go ahead and change the layout. The first thing to do is change the paper feed to tray 1, and then we need to change the finishing to heavy glossy, and then we'll only want to print pages 3 to 4, and then we'll basically print this and take it over to the layout and see if it works. If not, we may have to come back and adjust the size of each of the images. It's basically just a trial and error process, and then once you have it the way you want, you just glue this onto the existing bridge framework that we showed you how to create, and you've got yourself a new bridge.
So you can see here we have the second bridge put together. With this particular version, I opted to glue the photorealistic sides to it before I put it in place. A little tricky to do it the other when I already had it in place. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward, just 3 pieces of cardboard. These kind of U-shaped piece on the top, and then just 2 very simple boxes. And to complete the look here, we have the photos that we took and edited and flipped, as we showed you earlier in the video. So now we're simply going to take the scissors and cut these into the correct size and then glue them to this. So we'll show you the end result in a few minutes. So here you can see what we were left with are 2 pieces for the bridge, and as you can see there's this little lip that we have on the other side, and basically you can position these and the little lip fits up on there like so, and you just sort of make sure it's going to look realistic. Usually it should line up pretty easily. And then what we're going to do is take these Elmer's washable school glue, and in fact this school glue was only 10 cents at Walmart. Right now it's kind of back to school time, but any kind of paper glue should work. And so we're just going to take this, and actually it's purple, so it's very easy to see and it dries clear, which is very, very nice. So we're just going to glue the back of these, stick them back on, and we're good to go. And as you can see, it's looking pretty realistic. Now we'll fill these bits in as well. And then the only problem that we're going to have, as you can see here, the color from this photo is significantly lighter, and that was just because the only shot I could find of this bridge was with sunlight directly on it. But that's okay, because what we can do is we can put some glue on this and put in some foliage or trees or bushes or something like that, and it'll look pretty good. And so there you have it. There's the finished product with the paper. And so I'm now going to show you how to fix this particular problem right here with the color difference. And to fix that, we're going to take some of this Woodland Scenics medium green bushes, and it's basically just cut up foam. Actually, I was kind of a bit disappointed with it. It's literally just some foam block. It's painted, dyed green, and painted into different colors. So, or cut up into little shreds. So we're just gonna apply some glue to that and fix this to it. So again, you could use scenic glue, but I've discovered that the paper glue works just as well. So what we're gonna do is just glue this on. And so I'm going to start down the bottom here, just glue it in there pretty good. When I cover this whole area, and before we actually do that with the foam, I'm going to take this Woodland Scenics Fine Turf and just sprinkle some of it on it. Not a whole lot, just kind of a pinch. Just kind of sprinkle it down there. You can see us spread it out with your fingers a little bit. Gives a bit of a background to it. And then really just need to position some of the stuff to make it look bit realistic. Oops. And Now we'll probably need some extra glue, so we'll put that on there, work it in a little bit. Now, you may find that you have to take the glue and rub it onto the thing itself in order to make it stick. And for the stubborn pieces, now obviously they're still looking not too realistic because you don't normally have bushes that grow in a straight line, so we're going to stick some on the adjacent piece here, give them a little bit more depth, and then you can sort of stretch and pull it out a little bit till it looks a bit more realistic. That's the cheap way to do it. If you want to do a more expensive way, there's definitely plenty of better options in terms of once the glue starts to set, it gets a little stickier, so we're just gonna set that aside here. But pretty much it's doesn't look too bad. You can see there kind of looks like some foliage and stuff is growing out in between the bridge, and it hides that nasty transition there between the light and the dark colors, and also makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Now you can see there's still a spot here, right here where I missed, so I'll probably just take the paintbrush and paint over that later on when I'm painting. And under here with the black acrylic paint. You can also see there's a little bit that we missed here with the scissors, wasn't quite exactly right. We'll just hit that with the black paintbrush and it won't really be noticeable. And that's it. And there you have it, folks. That's how we basically put this part of the layout together. So as you can see, it's loosely based on Sydney Gardens, and in case you're wondering how we actually attach the walls here to the wall, we actually use painter's tape. Just regular 3M or duck painter's tape, and it comes off the wall pretty easily, and basically it sticks to the paper pretty well. So what we normally do with this is we double-side it, stick it to the wall, and then position the paper in. And obviously we just print these out on full sheets, and just tape 4 or 5 strips. So normally I have one strip going this way, one strip going this way, and then 3 going this way. And then I just tear up little pieces, just stick the bottom piece to the baseboard. And the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be ballasting all this section, and putting some paint in here, and just covering up any the kind of gaps and so on. So we'll get that in the next layout update, but hopefully you've learned something from this video, and until next time.